Whew, okay. It's up. That's something. Need a big old countdown timer that's flashing red. Like that could make me any more nervous. Oh, shoot. Okay. Here we go. All right. I think we're live. I think. Let's see. Says it's doing something. Okay, I think we're live. Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of How's Hanford, the show where we cover local news, events, politics, history, arts, culture, business, agriculture, education, art, music, food, probably lots and lots of things. We will be coming to you once a week. It's looking like Tuesday mornings from DJ's Collectibles. Oh, you're good, Tim. Here pretty soon, we'll actually have Tim Mattis playing a song for us, and we'll find out a little bit about him. Coming up later tonight is the Art Hop, which is a monthly event in downtown Hanford. It is the second Tuesday every month. This month, we have about 10 locations, all filled with art, music, or both. And I'm trying to make sure that we're streaming here. It's acting a little funky, but we are new to this, so be patient. How you doing, man? Okay, back to the show. Pardon the interruption. There'll probably be several, but that's okay, because we understand that folks gotta learn. So, little bit about me. My name is Nathan Odom. I have a business called Sizdriad, which isn't so much a business as a plan for peace here in Hanford, California. You can find out more about that at the website down at the bottom, which is www.hanford.tv. And you can also go to hanfordevents.com, which is a community calendar that I maintain. You can find all sorts of great things there, including Tim Mattis, who will be at Lush Fine Wines on Saturday, February 16th, I believe. And I think he goes on at 8 p.m. So if you go on to hanfordevents.com, you can click on that event and you'll get some info about it. There's a big old beautiful headshot of Tim and Google Maps that you can click and get directions and all that good stuff. So to the show. Don't really know exactly what the show's going to look like. We've got a lot to learn here. I don't quite fancy myself a newscaster, so I will endeavor to cover, of course, local events. That's the thing that I know, and they say start with what you know. So we'll be starting with local events, what happened the week before, and what you can look forward to. And I'll also endeavor to run around and grab as much footage from events as possible and pictures and things like that. We will also be covering local news, but it's going to take a while to figure out sources for news and things like that. But to start today, the Hanford City Council, last Tuesday, a week ago today, it was brought before them. City staff brought back the issue of cannabis here locally. And so the City Council has decided to establish, the new decisions on cannabis are that there be new language to allow for local businesses to deliver cannabis, and they will issue business licenses to that accord, which will allow for the tax revenue to go back to Hanford rather than, go out all over the place. And in that language that the city staff has been directed to write, they have been instructed to leave it flexible so that they can, here in a couple months, reapproach the issue and decide if they would like to allow for storefront dispensaries, which, if they do, will be in the industrial zone by Kaliva and the other businesses that plan to open there. There was a robbery on Super Bowl Sunday at the Metro 4. Anthony Martinez has been arrested for that crime. He was a former employee at the Metro 4. The suspect entered the Metro 4 around 1:30 p.m. on Super Bowl Sunday, which I believe was February 3rd. Did not show a gun, but suggested that he had one. He knew where the safe and money and things were kept, which suggested to them that it was a former employee. They then found him on Facebook and gave his name to police. He has been arrested. What struck me interesting about this story was that when I was at the council meeting last Tuesday, there was a business owner. For one thing, a lot of us were caught off guard by the fact that there was a robbery. We hadn't been told, and we didn't see it on the news or anything like that. And so Grady Hardiman got up and spoke to that accord. He was rather upset that he had not been notified. So the other day I went and I sat with Grady Hardiman, owner of Porches downtown, and he was kind enough to give me an interview. So I'll roll that here in a bit. Also, Hanford High School Metal Shop, or Hanford High School Ag Mechanics, is collaborating with the city on a beautification project on Lacey Boulevard. It is the median right by Chicken Shack, that big, ugly, triangle, empty, barren thing. That is going to have some big metal Hanford letters. It's going to have some replica cows and some big old antique tractors. So I got to visit the Hanford High School Ag Mechanics class, and I interviewed a student and the instructor. And the instructor, by the way, I was really impressed with. He took a lot of pride in his work, and he was a passionate individual. So I look forward to sharing that interview with you. Oh, we should probably cover weather. It's cold. Yeah. And I think I'm going to roll a clip because I'm pretty nervous, so I'm just going to let the interview speak for itself. So without further ado, here is Grady Hardiman, owner of Porches, talking about, well, for one thing, the homeless issue in downtown Hanford, which is what he was at the council meeting to address, and then the robbery, which kind of blindsided him. So here we go. I'm here with Grady Hardiman, owner of Porches in downtown Hanford. And he was at a council meeting on, what was that, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And he was there for other reasons, and we'll have him expand on that in just a second. But he was kind of caught off guard by some information, and I thought I'd ask him about that. So what was your experience at the council meeting on Tuesday, Grady?
Well, I went to the council meeting. A number of us went to the council meeting to address the city again, because we don't want to be forgotten about the homeless receiving center. We have an organization of about 35 or 40 businesses, and we want to help the city solve the problem where the homeless are concerned. Simply because city council, the city employees don't live with these homeless people on a daily basis, and we do.
Right.
All of us do. And we all know homeless people, and I don't think any of them have talk to or what have you, or know any homeless people, or really understand what their needs are.
And I've been really impressed actually with your guys' consistency in showing up to council meetings and other city meetings to voice your opinions and to keep it in the conversation and to keep that conversation going.
Yeah, we make a point of that.
I didn't know that there were 30 businesses.
Yeah, it's around 30, if not more.
Okay.
Businesses involved in this. So there's a core of us, and then there are others, you know what I mean? But there's a core of us that really want to keep it super active. We want to be in the radar.
Right on.
We want to be heard. You know, it's people are afraid of being heard anymore. They want to meld in. They want to just let other people do what they want to do, you know, especially with these funds and stuff. You know, they're taking a problem we have with the city and this homeless receiving centers. It's a CBDG grant to the city that's meant to help improve blighted areas of the city. So if you have $500,000 and you spend $225,000 on a building that you have to remodel and $18,000 a month to run it, there's no money left for crosswalks for the schools. I mean, there's a school over here with no crosswalks, no signs, no lights, nothing. Anyway, we're all involved in that. And so I was there just to support that and stand up and, you know, say what I had to say. I had my own little self-scripted dialogue that I was going to spew out. But Craig Johnson from Salmon's Furniture stood up before I did and started talking about an armed robbery right next door to my shop on Sunday at about 1:30 in the afternoon. We are aware, we keep an eye out here for trouble. We were aware that there was a huge amount of police activity going on at that time. So there are multiple buildings here at my shop. I had been working in the back room. I had been working in the back room on projects. A friend of mine asked me to go to lunch, so we got in the car, informed Renee that we were leaving, left the buildings open. Renee's inside Porches, you know, manning the cash register. And we pass the theater and see a lot of police activity there, and we notice there's a lot of police activity in the alley. We didn't think much of it. It could have been anything. And we were never notified as to what happened. If I had known that an armed robbery had just happened, I would never have left here.
Right.
I would have locked up the building. We might have kept the front doors open, but I would have locked up the building and manned my station at that front door to make sure that my customers were okay, let's say, I assume the guy might have been on foot because there were a lot of patrol cars patrolling. You know, if he was in a car, I think they would be on the freeway looking for him. But not a word. Absolutely not a word. I'm not putting down the police department at all. I think we have a great police department, but I think that we need to figure out a way for the police department to notify people in an area when something happens like this.
Yeah, within a certain radius, send out a text message or something. And
I
say,
understand they say they don't have the technology, but like I mentioned to you before, if they had a bomb threat at the daycare over here, the preschool, they would robocall that entire neighborhood and shut it down. They would shut everybody down. And I'm just wondering why that can't happen here. That was a dangerous situation for me to leave Renee in.
Right.
You know, obviously, if the entire building's open, front and back, she can't cover the back of the building, and the back building was open.
Yeah, this is a huge building. It's a big place.
Yeah, it's a huge place and huge areas to hide in. I mean, you don't even have to go in the buildings to hide here. It was a dangerous situation. I think that we should figure out a way to protect or notify everybody so that you have a level of awareness.
Right.
You know, like I said, I would never have left. Never.
And we're back. Thanks again for tuning in to this first episode, as bumpy as it is. I really look forward to the future, though. I'm sure I will get more comfortable as the weeks progress. I would like to take a minute to thank a few folks that went out of their way to support this show and this initial marketing push. So if you saw the commercial or any of the boosted posts, it was because of these folks. So first, I would like to thank Chaz Rhodes. He's a local architect, and he has a deep interest in the progress of this city. So thank you, Chaz. Paul Broussard, he is a local musician, and we're really hoping to get him back in the Art Hop pretty soon. His schedule doesn't quite allow for it at the moment, but we're working on it. Michael Quinn, you see him sometimes. Quite a gentleman, one of the most intelligent and generous men that I've ever met. So thank you, Mike. Rancho Not So Grande, which is an organic you-pick berry farm on Excelsior and 12th Avenue. I was fortunate enough to work there over the summer, and it was a great place. So they'll be opening up here probably in about 2 months, and I really suggest that you get out there and pick some berries. It is a diverse place, and diversity in agriculture is a grand thing. Diversity in agriculture allows for ecosystems to flourish. Ecosystems flourishing allows the soil to breathe, for pests to be kept in balance, and just all good things. Nutrient-dense, delicious food. So get out to Rancho Not So Grande as soon as you're able and pick some berries and eat them while you're out there. It's a good time. Fashion Cleaners. Over next to the Taco Bell and Walgreens at, 11th and Grangeville. I've known Frank for a long time, since high school, and we don't always agree on everything, but he's a grand guy, and I always find our conversations insightful, and I always find the work that they do in pressing clothes to be exceptional. So check out Fashion Cleaners. And, of course, Lush Fine Wines at the corner of Lacey and Irwin, where Tim Mattis will be on Saturday. And Lush Fine Wines will also be in the Art Hop tonight, which is, again, 6 to 8 p.m., and then there's an after party. We'll get to that in a minute. But Lush Fine Wines, it's a beautiful, comfortable place. A good friend of mine who does not find going out to be a pleasant experience once told me while I was working there that Lush was the only place in town that she felt comfortable going and just hanging out alone and reading a book and drinking a glass of wine. So it is a true gem in this town, and I encourage you to check it out. I would be remiss if I did not thank DJ's Collectibles, this local establishment with which we are in currently. DJ's has been a staple in this community for, I think, like 20 years. I certainly remember going to DJ's when it was over on Dowdy as a kid and buying my Pokemon cards and trying to sell my baseball cards and, of course, playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! He does a great deal for this community. He's been a consistent participant in the Art Hop for these last 2 years, and I think this community is lucky to have him. So, DJ's Collectibles in downtown Hanford, and I think I also ought to thank Monty Dobbs, who, of course, didn't instruct me so much in the personal presence of the live stream, because that's something I just got to figure out on my own, and we'll get there. But Monty Dobbs of Evoke Media gave me some very valuable instruction on the use of this program with which I'm using to stream this. So thank you, Evoke Media, Monty Dobbs. They're currently working on a short film. So as soon as they're done with that and they go into post-production and it's about ready to air, I think we'll have him on to talk about that. So moving on, the Art Hop is tonight from 6 to 8 p.m., and it's a grand time, so you should come on out. We've got like 10 locations this month. The main portion of the hop is from 6 to 8 p.m. and any one of these 10 locations. And then there's an after party, which we'll talk about in just a minute, but it's dollar tacos all night at restaurant Guanajuatense, right, which is the old firehouse. First, we've got Children's Storybook Garden and local author Garrett Jones. He has a high fantasy series, and there's an old interview with him on my YouTube channel and on the Facebook, so go check that out. He's an interesting cat, and we'll have him on soon because I was listening to his, he posted a video yesterday saying that he just finished, I think, chapter 5 or something like a couple hundred pages of his 5th book. That's crazy. I can't even write a short story. Location number 2 is Lush Fine Wines again. Michael Ohanesian is the artist. DJ's Collectibles with See the Arts Gallery. He is a spray paint artist, and his work is just awesome. If you're in the #HopHanford Facebook group, you can find a couple of the time-lapse videos that See the Arts Gallery has posted, and they're definitely worth a watch. It's cool art to witness. Beautifully Damaged, which is right across the street from DJ's Collectibles, is location number 4, and Olivia Rochelle is the artist, and I believe this is her first art hop, so I look forward to seeing her. Tim Mattis will be at Urban Gypsies, and the artist there will be Jamie Davis. Location 6, King's Gospel Mission with origami master Raymond Thomas. Location 7, Crossroads Appliance, which is on 7th Street, will feature art from Matt Davis and Nature's Pendants, which is wire-wrapped stones, and the Macy Blue Band, which is kind of classic rock blues kind of stuff, and it sounds pretty cool. I'm looking forward to hearing them in person. I have not yet. I've only seen videos. Hyacinth is going to be at Independent Music Outlet on Dowdy. Location 9 is Hanford Antique Emporium, featuring art from Taylor Long and C.J. Liscombe Band. C.J. Liscombe being the guy who runs Headliners Open Mic Night, which is the first and third Thursday at 111 Coffee. And Strange Matter will be playing the music for the after party at Restaurant Guanajuatense, the old fire station. And there will be art from Shredworthy Designs and the Fancy Cactus, and also art from Taylor Long. She'll be going over there after the earlier portion of the art hop ends. And again, dollar tacos all night long, which is pretty cool. I'm already hungry, so that'll be good. Breakfast doesn't last long with me. So back to Hanford High School, the Ag Mechanics class is helping the city with a beautification project over by the Chicken Shack. So I was fortunate enough to grab an interview with one of the students and also with the instructor. And I was also lucky enough to be invited to check out the antique tractors and the cow replicas in person and get a bit of footage of those. So without further ado, enjoy.
My name's Jordan Gibson. I'm a senior at Hanford High School. I've been in Ag Mech for 2 years now. Most stuff in the beginning was simple, getting beads down, you know, T-welds and everything. And then, I was we teamed up with Auto Shop next door, and they brought a car in, so they needed a roll cage, and so I welded a roll cage into that car. And this has been my project now that I've been working on. They came to Mr. Taylor and asked, "Do you guys think you can do this?" And he said, "Yo, yeah, I think we can."
Right on.
Because I've been laying some alright welds. He liked what I saw, so he thought I could do this. We thought it was going to take a really long time when we first looked at it, because we didn't know where to start from when we first got it. And then finally we got one set, and then we thought, okay, this is going to be pretty easy. We just bam, 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 got them all done. It took us maybe 2.5 weeks. Yeah, just about 2.5, 3 weeks maybe.
Perfect.
Watch my feet. Never know what's on the ground.
Fair enough.
Okay. I'm Michael Taylor. I'm the ag mechanics teacher here at Hanford High School. My first year out here. It's been a great experience thus far. This is our crowning jewel project for the moment. We're partnered with the city, making a big Hanford sign that's going to go downtown. It'll actually be in the community on the corner of Lacey and Garner. The city Parks and Leisure Department, they plan on putting it in the spring. And we're just now finishing up the fabrication, so I suspect they'd probably be picking it up in about a week and sending it off to color coat, and then they'll do the install in the spring. Ran into one of our maintenance workers who was walking around with a guy that worked for the city who was getting ready to retire. They had this project on a shelf, and they were thinking, let's partner with the local high school and let the students build the sign for the city. And one thing led to another, got me in touch with the new guy in Parks and Leisure that replaced the guy that retired. Okay. And we connected, they brought the material, we started the fab, and here it is, ready for color coat. They asked me probably, a week or so ago, if it would be okay if they, put their initials somewhere on the inside. And I told them, well, I'll have to find out, don't move on that yet. So I called Ivan with the city, and he said, let me ask my supervisor. I can't give you an answer until I talk with him. A couple days later, he calls back. He said, yeah, he said that'd be fine. I actually thought it was a good idea. Let them initial their work. So it's set. I mean, they welded their first and last initials on it. It's going to last forever.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, hey, thank you for your time.
Yeah, you bet. I'm glad you could be out.
No, that's dope. I love to see collaboration.
Yeah.
Anywhere in town, that's what it's all about.
I think
that's how we head in the right direction.
And I've talked with Ivan since him dropping. In fact, he's been by 2 or 3 times just to see what the kids are doing. He's already speaking of other projects for the community that we can build here.
Nice.
So this might just be like the start of something great. Yeah. And part of being an industry guy, I'm fully down with secondary higher education. It's super important. It's got its value. A lot of kids aren't going to go to college, though. They need skills.
They do.
And that's kind of what I see I'm doing out here. I'm giving them something that they can leave high school with and make money at.
And we're back, this time with Timothy Mattis. So my favorite thing about that was that the teacher, for one thing, was passionate. And I keep saying that, I was really impressed. I think it's an exceptional thing to have a teacher that is passionate about their craft. and so excited to be imparting that knowledge on kids. But also, he's excited, the teacher, to work in the future with the city on as many collaborative projects as possible. So I think the more things that we can have built by the high school, ag mechanics class, I think the better. Although I think Hanford West is going to have to jump in there and then get some golden bear stuff going on too. So I think that it'd be cool to have kind of a, I don't know if you could call it a space race, but something of that nature where they're kind of competing with each other and pumping out a bunch of cool new landmarks for this town. I think that'd be pretty unique. So Tim, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in. Tim here has, well, he's just been great for these last 2 years that I've known him. He's always up for an art hop. He's always sharing his music, and that is in addition to a full-time job, which is at a place that is kind of known for being a full-time job. So where do you work, Tim?
I work at Leprino Foods East plant in Lemoore. I've been there 27 years, and work there full-time, and on my days off, pick some music, and after work, pick music. And yeah.
Well,
keeps me busy.
Pick music and find it a passion. I mean, clearly you have a bunch of signatures on your guitar. Where are some of those from?
Well, I worked at Bullfrogs in Kingsburg for a few months and was fortunate enough to open up for Kanan Smith. He signed it, and a group called the Cadillac 3, who had a hit song that was on the TV show Nashville. They all signed it, although it's getting a little wore off. And then I got to open up for the Riders in the Sky. They're my favorite band in the world, old-time cowboy band at the Fox, and they all autographed it. And then Marty Stewart, when he played the Fox last time.
Oh, that was a great show.
Yeah,
that guy. I mean, that was when the 2016 presidential debates were going on, right? And the crowd was very small. I think there was something like 300 people, maybe total. Yeah. And he worked the crowd like he was playing for 30,000. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
I was up dancing and clapping. That was an incredible show. Guy was an impressive
Marty's
musician.
Awesome. He's one of the only real classic country music singers around. And my good buddy Rowdy Yates opened up for him with Travis Brooks.
Yeah.
And that made it really special. They did great. They did a heck of a job.
They did. That'd be cool to get them to play a show sometime. Rowdy's over in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah. He's still around for a while, but eventually he's going to be a full-time resident of Paso Robles, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
So,
can't leave out the best autograph. Mighty Merle Haggard. Last time he played Hanford, I caught him coming out of the alley by the Fox. I was stalking him, and he autographed it for me. He took it on his bus because I tried to get him to carve it in with an ink pen, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do that." So who am I to argue with the hag? So he took it in his bus, and he came back, and he actually autographed it twice, but I wore it out on the bottom.
Okay.
Since then, I've had my dad cover it with a clear
nice
shellac.
Do you do that? Are you planning on doing that every time you get a new signature? Are there some signatures that you're still hoping for?
Yeah, I'm hoping for. There's two of them that I would love. I would love to get Christofferson, because he's my favorite songwriter, and of course Willie Nelson, who's my favorite singer in the world.
Okay. Well, Blue Eyes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see.
Never know. I'm a dream big kind of guy. So yeah. I think it could happen. How long have you been playing music?
Well, I'm 58, and I started when I was 19. So you do the math.
Well, I don't do math, but it's a big number.
I was a drummer. I was a drummer for 30-something years in local bands, and about a dozen years ago, I did a couple of shows with a Fresno singer named Dave Pillow. Dave Pillow plays a lot of senior dances and retirement homes. And after drumming with him New Year's Eve at Jasper's in Lemoore, he mentioned to me that he was playing at the Remington. So I went to the Remington to go watch him, and I just fell in love with what he was doing. He was playing all these old Merle Haggard and Marty Robbins and Johnny Cash and Rick Nelson songs, and I thought,
okay,
that's what I want to do. So I went out and bought a guitar and brushed up on my chords, quit my band, put my drums in the attic, and and I've been doing that for about a dozen years now.
Okay.
Playing a lot of retirement homes, and it's grown into wine rooms and tap rooms
And didn't you just play the Rotary crab feed? Okay.
Yeah, and
they said they want you back next year, huh?
yeah, they booked me for next year. I normally do a single act, but for the crab feed, I put together a band, and I got my good buddy Travis Brooks and members of his group Saltwater, and J.J. Brown's drummer,
Okay.
Matt Hobson, was kind enough to drum that night, and it was a lot of fun. That was the first time I ever fronted a band. Talking about nervous, but it went over great. Those guys are professional. They're really good, and yeah, we had a great time.
Right on.
Be back next year for that.
Cool. Well, I'll definitely make it next year. I was bummed to miss it this year, but I was pretty busy.
There was at least 400 or 500 people. It was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a lot of pictures online from it. Looked like a good time.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in the art hop tonight.
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to be playing?
I'll be at Urban Gypsies over on where is that? Irwin?
It is on Irwin. It's across the street from Sequoia Club.
Oh yeah.
And
I got thrown out of there one night.
Sequoia Club? You know, I might have been thrown out once or twice. I don't remember it though.
Yeah.
Had
Urban
a lot of
Gypsies.
things there that I
Yeah.
don't remember. Yeah.
That's like the oldest bar in Hanford.
Oh yeah, it's been around. I've seen pictures of that place from years back too. All right, well, we're gonna catch a song here in a second, but I want to click on that other camera real quick. So in the meantime, here is a quick 30-second commercial from my buddy Steve Chavez, who runs it's called Slice and Dice, and it is a local organic meal prep service. And I think that's just awesome. I love entrepreneurship.
Sounds exciting.
It is exciting. And the meal that I filmed him cooking was one of the best things I've ever tasted. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So here you go. Without further ado. Ooh. All right. Well, it got a little resized, but we got your letters on there. Timothy Mattis, everybody. That's supposed to be much smaller. All right. Well, here's some songs from Tim. So take it away, Tim.
Thank you. This first song I'm going to do, I just kind of got this idea actually just a few minutes ago. When my oldest daughter, Samantha, was in high school, she asked me to take her to a concert at Howie and Sons Pizza. So I took her to go see Kimya Dawson, who was in a group called the Moldy Peaches. Gross name, good band. And she
depends
did
on what you're making with your moldy peaches.
That's true. That's true. She did some songs from the movie Juno that I love very much, and I took my daughter to see the concert with a couple of her friends, and I was so impressed with the simplicity of Kimya Dawson's music that it inspired me to learn one of her songs. So this is from the movie Juno. You're a part-time lover and a full-time friend. The monkey on your back is the latest trend. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. Kiss you on the brain in the shadow of a train. Kiss you all starry-eyed, my body swinging side to side. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. Here is the church and here is the steeple. We sure are cute for two ugly people. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. Well, the pebbles forgive me, the trees forgive me, so why can't you forgive me? I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. You're always trying to keep it real. I'm in love with how you feel. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. Don Quixote was a steel driving man. My boy is Adam, I'm his biggest fan. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. Squinched up your face and you did a little dance. Shook a little turd out of the bottom of your pants. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you. But you.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Yeah, your music always brings me back to the moment. So thank you, because I've been this whole episode so far. You may have noticed I've been a little nervous, but
Hey, join the club. My
your music.
palms are sweating.
Mine too. But you bring me back to the moment and remind me to appreciate what's happening around me. So thank you, Tim. Oh, here we got. He's drinking some coffee from 111 downtown.
My favorite place. You want a good cup of coffee? Go to 111.
Right on. You got one more for us, Tim?
Sure thing. Sure thing. You know, I was thinking about my kids, and I think, you know, I'm going to do what they might like. And this is another song. I learned that song because of my oldest daughter. And then I learned the song I'm about to do because my kids all loved a movie that came out years ago called Napoleon Dynamite. Who didn't love Napoleon Dynamite, honey?
Me.
You didn't like it? Oh my gosh!
I couldn't stand that movie.
Oh, wow.
I might like it now, but I didn't
Okay,
back
well, this has nothing to do with the movie. It's just a song from the opening credits, and it introduced me to the music of Jack White. I love Jack White. He's another one that he'll take an old beat up vintage guitar that cost $100 and make it sound good. And he had that. What was the band? The White Stripes.
then. Okay. So
this is from the movie Napoleon Dynamite.
right on.
And I think it's an awesome song. Hope you like it. Fall is here, hear the yell, back to school, ring the bell, brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park and by the tree. We will rest upon the ground and look at all the bugs we found. Safely walk to school without a sound. Safely walk to school without a sound. Here we are, no one else. We walk to school all by ourselves. There's dirt on our uniforms from chasing off the ants and worms. We clean up and now it's time to learn. We clean up and now it's time to learn. Numbers, letters, learn to spell. Nouns in books and show and tell. Playtime we will throw the ball. Back to class, through the hall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. We don't notice any time pass. We don't notice anything. side by side in every class. Teacher thinks that I sound funny, but she likes the way you sing. Tonight I'll dream while I'm in bed, when silly thoughts go through my head about the bugs and alphabet. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll bet you and I will walk together again. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. That was for my kids.
Right on. And what are their names and how old are they?
Oh, man. Well, my oldest is Samantha. She just turned 28. And then there's Travis. He is 25.
I forget how old I am sometimes.
Travis teaches at Avenel.
Okay.
He teaches inmates. And
Oh, no kidding.
yeah.
What does he teach?
probably getting him prepared,
Right on.
just to kind of help him face the outside world, hopefully.
No, that's
Yeah.
important stuff. I mean, we've got a really high recidivism rate for a reason. Inmates find it really difficult to integrate back into society. So the more effort that's put into helping them explore the parts of themselves that they didn't have the chance to earlier in their lives, the better. So
Yeah.
it's better for society, better for them,
Yeah.
better all around.
Yeah. Then I got Adam, my boy Adam. He's 24. And I got my daughter Christian, and she is 22. And she produces the news in Fresno.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, on CBS 47.
Okay.
Very proud of all my kids. They all do well. They're all very artistic. Yeah, Chrissy's 22. And then I got my Abigail. She's 19. And she is a sophomore at West Hills. And good Lord willing, she'll be transferring to Fresno State. So did I mention them all? Let me think. I can't, I got to look at my insurance card just to remember their birthdays. So I got Samantha, Travis, Chrissy, Adam, and Abigail. Yes.
It's a lot to remember.
Yes.
Right on. Good.
and my wife, Terry.
All right.
So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for coming out, Tim.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Nate. Appreciate it.
And I look forward to seeing you tonight at Urban Gypsies.
Urban Gypsies tonight. And I got Lush this Saturday night. And I'll be at Plan B Tap House in March. So be looking for that on Facebook under Timothy Mattis.
Okay. And you'll also be able to find it on hanfordevents.com. And there's a couple events coming up this week. Tonight, of course, is the Art Hop, 6 to 8 p.m. in downtown Hanford, as you know. Tomorrow, there are free acting and improv classes at the Carnegie Museum. Kids from 5 to 6, adults from 6 to 7, and adults 18 and over from 7 to 8. That is at the Hanford Carnegie Museum, and that is done by the Hanford Multicultural Theater Company. It's free, and it's awesome. They have a monthly improv show. The last one they had was this last Friday. I think it's the second Friday of the month, every month, and I was planning on just going in to just pop in and see it so I could talk about it, and I stayed the whole time. I was blown away. It was hilarious. I was laughing the entire time. It was great. Green Teens, that is Thursday, every Thursday at Children's Storybook Garden, and that is from 4:15 to 5:30, where kids ages 13 to 17 get to go and learn about growing things and about cooking with produce, fresh produce. It's at Children's Storybook Garden. That's over behind Chase Bank near the library.
Love that place.
Yeah. On Thursday, which is Valentine's Day, we've got Valentine's Day with C.J. Liscombe Band, and that will be at Restaurant Guanajuatense, the old firehouse. And
How do you pronounce that?
Ooh, you're asking the wrong
Yeah,
guy.
I call it the old firehouse.
Yeah.
I can never remember how to pronounce it.
Guanajuatense. I want to say.
Guanajuatense.
Yeah. And that's at 7 p.m., so 7 to 9 on Thursday. And then there's a bunch of stuff going on Saturday. So Looks like there is a stone fruit pruning class over at Hoffman's Nursery, which is on Lacey. It's near man, I had the address written down. You know what? I'll just click on the thing and I'll be able to tell you. I should have set up a screen capture so I could show them, but I started running out of time. So Hoffman's Nursery is at 12491 Lacey Boulevard. And if you go to hanfordevents.com and you click the event, there's a map that you can click on, and it'll give you directions from wherever you happen to be. There is also a beginner's garden workshop and an art activity with Miss Katie at Children's Storybook Garden. The garden workshop is from 11 a.m. to noon, and then the art activity, which is a art activity for kids, but I want to say it's all ages, and that is at 2 p.m. until 3. And then, of course, we have Timothy Mattis, and I mean, just look at that headshot. Who took that picture? That's a great picture.
It was here.
Timothy Mattis.
It was actually here last year, that picture.
That was, huh?
Yeah.
Timothy Mattis, February 16th, Saturday, from 8 to 10 p.m. at Lush Fine Wines. And then there's a fancy cactus workshop that you can still get seats for.
She's good.
She is good. She's real good. And that is at 1:30 p.m. on Sunday. And if you go to the Fancy Cactus Facebook page, or I think it's called the Garden Emporium Garden Marketplace on Facebook, or the Hanford Antique Emporium, you can still get seats in that. I want to say it's somewhere between $20 and $35. And then there's Little Sprouts on Monday, again at Children's Storybook Garden, and that is at 9:30 a.m. That's a weekly event, and it's story time and a special activity for preschoolers and toddlers from 9:30 to 10:30 every Monday morning. So there's a lot going on, and the calendar is always being filled with more things. I'm really looking forward to very soon being able to offer I'll be getting the plugin that will allow for other people to submit events, because right now I enter them all manually.
Can I mention one thing really quick?
Of course.
A good friend of mine, and probably most people in this town, is about to turn 99 years old. I would like to acknowledge that. Naomi, happy birthday. This town loves you. You're an institution. God bless you, and happy 99th birthday to our good friend Naomi.
Right on. And they're having a party, and I just closed the calendar, but...
Yeah, I'll be singing at that.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just found out yesterday.
Right on.
It's the 23rd, I believe.
It is. So it's not this upcoming Saturday, but the following Saturday. So we'll talk more about that on Tuesday when I tell you about the upcoming events. But I believe that she is using her birthday to launch a fundraiser for the old laundry building in China Alley. So they're hoping to raise $100,000.
She is.
Hoping to raise $100,000 by her 100th birthday. So this time next year. So all power to them, and I look forward to getting some more info about that for you. So I mean that's all I got for you this week. I appreciate you tuning in. I think things will get a bit smoother as we go on, but thank you so much for choosing to watch today. Your time is immensely valuable, and that I believe that it's the only currency that we really have in life. We have like this magic wallet that we're born with, and it seems to refill every day. We don't know how much we've got. We can't even see inside it. We just spend it. And that you spend some of that valuable time with me means the world. So thank you. It's going to be an exciting year. Have a good day.